All right. KMODE exception not handled. How to resolve it? Well, the first thing, if you're dealing with this issue and you have a problem where you can't boot Windows, nor can you boot uh, Windows 10 PE media or any bootable media of any sort. Let's say the screen fragments and you can't see anything and it doesn't load up and it comes up with that warning message telling you that you need to restart and that there was a problem with your computer. So you're stuck on that screen. You're trying to figure out, how can I get into Windows if it keeps telling me to restart and I can't use bootable media to go into safe mode to repair it, or I can't repair it with other diagnostic tools using other boot media. So what you can do is, what gets you out of this, what worked for me was to go in to the BIOS and to reset it to the default settings. This is what worked for me. Go into your BIOS, reset it to the default settings, save those settings, restart, then go back into the BIOS, configure your BIOS, and change all the settings to what you want it to be, and then save those and then restart again. And then you should be able to boot back up, and it will allow you to actually boot back into Windows. Now, once you get back in Windows, if you can get back in Windows, if you can't get back in Windows at that point, I recommend you doing a backup, using a backup. So you would probably have to take your SSD or HDD out of that system and connect it to another computer and go into command prompt and clean that disk. So you would go into command prompt and you would type disk part, and then you would choose select disk. You would type select disk or list disk. I apologize. You would type list disk, and then you would say select disk, whatever that disk is based on the disk listed. You would know based on the size of the allotment of size for that hard disk, and then you would say clean. You would just say clean after that, and then that disk would be blank at that point. Then you can take it back. You can shut that computer down, then take that drive back into the system, and now you can use boot media once Windows is cleared off that hard disk. So now you need to have Windows 10 PE boot media, or Windows RE, or Windows 11 boot media, and that boot media is downloadable from Microsoft. So it's just USB boot media. And so you would use that Microsoft boot media to log in, and then either you can do a fresh install with the boot media, or you can use backup software boot media and restore a backup using backup software boot media, third-party boot media, and restore your backup to that system, which is what I ended up having to do the first time, because I didn't know I could have just restored the BIOS settings to the default, and then I could actually get back in the system. So that's what I did to go around doing that, is just restore the BIOS settings to the default settings. And then I was able to get back into Windows. Now, once you get into Windows, there's some things you need to do. So first thing you want to do is you want to go into safe mode from the start menu. And the way you do that, you go up here to start, go down here to power button. Now you're going to hold the shift key. Hold the shift key and then press restart. Now when the shift key allows you to restart, you're going to wait for the restart, and then you're going to come to a screen that should say advanced settings option. You want to choose the advanced settings options, and then you want to choose startup settings. Then you want to go to restart. At that point, it's going to be a restart button on the right hand side of the screen. Choose restart. Then you choose safe mode with networking once the computer reboots after the restart. So it's going to reboot, and then you're going to go back to that screen, and you want to choose safe mode with networking. It should be option number 5. So basic safe mode is option number 4. and networking, safe mode with networking is number 5. So you're going to choose safe mode with networking. Then you're going to start Windows up. You're going to log in, put your credentials in, and then you're going to go to the run command. So you're going to hit WinR. You're going to type msconfig. So you're going to hit WinR on your keyboard. That's this key and the R key. And then you're going to go and you're going to type msconfig. Now, once that opens, you're going to go to the services tab. And then you're going to go to the services tab and you're going to find Enterprise App Management Service. And you're going to click that service and disable it. And then you're going to click apply in the menu of the msconfig service. And then you're going to restart your computer and restart without safe mode at that point. So it's going to restart. And then after you restart, you're going to log back in, put your credentials in, log in. You're going to open up a command prompt and you're going to type these commands. CLS -- refresh. And then you're going to type SFC / / scan now. That's going to take some time, not a lot of time, but then you're going to run the check disk command. This is not all the other check disk commands. This is just a basic check disk. So you're going to run the check disk command, and then that's going to take some time. And then you're going to type these commands. SFC scan file C Windows System 32 IE frame.dll. Then you're going to type this command. After that one comes back verified, you're going to type SFC verify file C Windows System 32 IE frame.dll. You're going to type that one. And then at that point, you should be good to go. Another recommendation is to turn off high performance mode if you keep dealing with the KMODE exception not handled error. So if you have high performance mode turned on in your power settings, you want to turn that off in the advanced power settings and set it to a balanced setting. So that's one other recommendation. And then another recommendation is that if you continue to still deal with the issue, is to test using different RAM modules, because it could be that you're dealing with faulty RAM in your system, and it may be not receiving a request from another RAM stick, and that RAM stick is faulty, so it causes this error to occur, and it's stuck in a time loop because it's trying to communicate with the other stick of RAM, and there's an error. So it could be a RAM issue also. So if you keep dealing with it, I do consider you to swap that RAM out and try some different RAM. Those are my recommendations for that error. But remember, if you can't get in and no boot media is working, try to reset the BIOS settings to factory default. That's the best recommendation right now. That's what worked for me. Now, the first time I dealt with this, I actually had to restore from a backup and do everything because I didn't know any other option that could work. And I wasn't thinking about restoring the BIOS to default settings because I thought it was a Windows operating system issue. So, which it is a Windows operating system issue if that service isn't running up there. So if the Enterprise App Management Service isn't running, that's not a concern. So just make sure you disable that and restart. And that concludes this video. End of story.